Hi guys, how's it going? It's Arit here. In today's Biz Tips Tuesdays video, I'm going to be talking about SEO for bloggers. So search engine optimization. So how do you optimize your posts for the search engines so that people can actually find what you write? I want to thank Kauri for asking this question on one of our videos. We released a video on how to get more readers to your blog, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. And she was asking more about, well, how one of those points was to make sure you learn about search engine optimization. And she was asking for more insight on that particular topic. So thank you, Kauri, and I hope this video is helpful for you and for other bloggers watching this. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 main things that you absolutely must incorporate when you are optimizing your blog posts for the search engines. But before I get into those 5 things, above all, the greatest search engine optimization strategy that you can ever adopt is to produce great quality content on a consistent basis. Putting out great content on a consistent basis is superior to absolutely everything that I'm going to talk about in this video. So make sure, above all, you focus on creating great content. So there are 2 main things that influence your blog's search engine rankings. One of them is intrinsic SEO, so meaning there are certain things that you can do for each post that you can control to make sure that the search engine reads them. And number 2 is external SEO. So these are things like other websites, other bloggers linking to your blog. Both influence your search engine rankings, but in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about the first one, so intrinsic SEO. SEO tip number 1. Find a really good keyword phrase that someone would use to search for that particular blog post that you just wrote. So if we're going with the example of, let's say you wrote a blog post about making healthy homemade granola, and it's a recipe that you wrote out, you posted some cool pictures on there and everything. So ask yourself, what would someone type into the search engines to find that specific blog post if they were looking for a blog post like that? First thing you want to do is go onto Google. So go onto Google and start typing in ideas about what you think this person might type in to find your blog post. So for example, healthy, and you can see that I've already previously done this. That's why my search results history is bringing this up already. But healthy homemade granola recipes would be something that someone would type in to search for that blog post that you just wrote. Now, there are over 1 million search results here. And you might ask, well, why didn't you type in something more general? You know, people are probably typing in healthy snack recipes, and my blog post would still fit with that. You want to go more specific rather than broad, because the more broad you go, the more competition you'll have to deal with in the search results. So you'll have way more results up here to compete against, and you want your blog post to really stand out. So I'm just going to show you here healthy, let's say I put healthy snack recipes. You can see here that there are now 33.5 million search results to compete with. So the more specific you get, the better. So I'm going to put healthy homemade granola recipes. And you can see here as I'm typing this in, there are other phrases here that Google suggests because it's telling you, hey, people who are searching for healthy homemade granola recipes are also searching for healthy homemade granola bar recipes or healthy homemade chewy granola bar recipes. So this is really valuable because Google is helping you get more specific with your search phrase. So if any of those apply to your blog post, then go ahead and use that. So if my recipe was for a granola bar, I would pick that one. If it was a chewy granola bar, I would go ahead and pick this one, because you can see here, the more specific I get, the lower number of search results that my blog post will have to compete with. So let's say I have made, or my blog post is on exactly this, healthy homemade chewy granola bars. And this is the keyword phrase that I want to use. So that's tip number one, is use Google to come up with a specific search phrase that someone might type into the search engines to find your blog post. Now, SEO tip number two is going to use what we just came up with. So your second tip is to put this keyword phrase in your title. That's very, very important, because Google looks for certain things in your blog post. It looks at your title, it looks at the text in your blog post, it also looks at your tags, your keyword tags, in order to categorize it as something that is about this particular topic. So you want to really pay attention to the title of your blog post and put this main keyword phrase. So using the same example that we just came up with, my title would be Healthy Homemade Chewy Granola Bar Recipes. Now, you don't have to be so generic and just use your main keyword phrase for your title. As long as your title starts with that keyword phrase, that is the most important. So if you wanted to add your own, and you should add your own little flair to that title, so meaning make it more interesting by saying Healthy Homemade Chewy Granola Bar Recipes, easy and under 5 minutes. I don't know if anything like that exists, but so make sure that your title there's two parts to your title. The first part of your title must always start off with your main keyword search phrase, and the second part of your title can be this unique piece that you can add into. So what specifically makes your blog post unique amongst all of the other healthy homemade chewy granola recipe blog posts out there? So that is how to come up with an optimized title for your blog post. Now, SEO tip number 3, you want to choose the right keyword tags to put into your blog post. So if you're using WordPress, there'll be a section there where you can tag your blog post with certain keywords or keyword phrases. And this section is also really important because, again, it helps the search engines categorize your blog post. So what you can do is you can actually spy on your competition and see what kinds of tags they use on their blog posts. And you can do this by typing in your main keyword phrase. So the phrase that you are trying to rank for is Healthy Homemade Chewy Granola Bar Recipes. And scroll down to see what are the first few search results on the first page. You can go into these websites, these blog posts, and actually see what tags they are using for the post. I'll show you how to do that. So we have our first, at the very top, chewy healthy granola bars. I'm going to click on that. This is a blog post here on chocolatecoveredkatie.com. And we want to see what tags she used. Oh, that looks really good. We want to see what tags she used for this blog post. So the way to do that is you right click and then select View Page Source. Now you're going to see a bunch of crazy language code kind of stuff. Don't get overwhelmed. What you want to look for is an area that says meta tags or something similar to that. And it's usually at the very top of all of this crazy code. So you can scroll down, just scroll down with your eyes. You can see a bunch of meta stuff here. And, you know, this talks about the meta title. This is actually the title they use, the description for the blog post, which you can also implement in your own blog post as well. But right here you can see it says meta tags, right? Meta property equals blah 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 tag. So you can see what tags she used for this specific post. She used 5 minutes or less. She used chia, chocolate, gluten-free, no bake, oatmeal, soy-free. So if these tags apply to your specific post, you can go right ahead and use those same tags. You can go into another post, maybe it's the second search result on the search engine. Let's go back here and see what that particular blog post used. So let's go with the second one here, 28 healthy granola bar recipes. So I'm going to, again, scroll down. I'm looking for the blog post. So you can only do that view source thing with a blog post, and it looks like, I'm not sure if this is a blog post or not. It looks like something that's been curated for presenting other links. But let's just check it out. Let's see if it works. So again, I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to click on view page source. And again, I'm going to look for something that says meta tags. Again, it should be near the top. And if you don't find it, don't stress over it. Just go and look for the meta tags on a different blog post, or you can make them up yourself as well. This is just a way to borrow or steal those tags and model after the first few results in the search engines, which is great stuff for your own blog post. So again, I'm going to look for something that says meta tags or meta keywords as well. So you can see here, my radar is looking for the word meta. So I found that word up here, and now I'm looking for something that says tags or keyword right here. So we have the word keywords. And here are all of the keywords that we can use: granola bar, maple blueberry granola bars, etc. Right? So you can, again, take those keywords, put them into your tags as well. An extra sub tip for you on keywords is to, once you put them in as tags for that blog post, in your blog post, in the text of the body of your blog post, try to sprinkle some of those keywords in the text. So if you're putting granola bars in your tags, or dried fruit, or healthy granola bar recipe, make sure you put those keywords in the body text of your blog post. And also always make sure that the main keyword phrase that you used for your title is also in your blog post. So SEO tip number 4 is to use H1 and H2 tags in your blog post. So H1 and H2 are just referring to different types of titles or headings in your blog post. H1 is typically bigger, bolder, and is used for the main title of your blog post. The search engines look for H1 and H2 tags in your blog posts, and it reads specifically what is in that H1 or H2 tag. So make sure you incorporate those into your blog post, and also use the keywords in those headings. So let me show you an example. So this is the first blog post that is ranked number 1 on the first page of Google, and is optimized for that main keyword phrase that we were using: healthy homemade granola bar recipes. So I'm going to scroll down here and show you the difference between an H1 and an H2 tag. So this is something that you're going to be doing in the back end of your WordPress dashboard when you're writing your blog post. You can actually select text and then and use the drop down menu to say, I want this to be H1 or I want this to be H2. There are also H3, H4 headings, but you really want to focus on H1 and H2. So typically this is an H1 heading. Your main title of your post would be in H1, so it's the biggest, it's the boldest. And something like an H2 heading would be also a relatively larger heading, maybe it's bold, depending on what styles you're using for H2, but something like this. Oh, let me click out of this. Something like this right here. So you can see it's a subheading of your blog post. This would be something like an H2 heading. So if there are different sections of your blog post, for example, and you can separate them by certain headings. So like she did here, to make the healthy granola bars, or description about the healthy granola bars, anything like that, make those H2. So it's a lower heading for your blog post than H1, but still categorized as a heading. And make sure you use some of your keywords, and possibly, if you can, your main keyword phrase that you used in your title, put it in your H2 and H1 tags. And the final tip for this video, SEO tip number 5, is to internally link to other posts from your blog post. So this internal linking really helps boost your post for the search engine rankings, because it's kind of similar to that extrinsic or that external SEO that we talked about in the beginning of this video. External is where other websites link to your blog post. So you're kind of doing something similar here, except you are using your own blog post to link to other pages, other blog posts from that post. So you're creating a little interlinked web within your website, which Google will really love. So showing you an example here again in Katie's blog post here, you can see she's linked to other pages on her website. And again here, she talks about healthy Nutella, so that goes to another blog post on her website. All of these internal links, again, she has view nutrition facts. She's got other recipes connected to this one. So if you liked this healthy granola bar recipe, you'll also like the breakfast blueberry oatmeal mug cake. So make sure you incorporate those interlinkings within each blog post, because the more you do that, the more you're giving SEO juice to the other posts on your website as well. So guys, that is it for this video. Those are 5 SEO tips that are pretty basic in terms of ranking your blog posts on the search engines, but will go a long way if you implement them. So I hope this is helpful. If so, please let me know by giving us a like, by leaving me a comment, and or subscribing to the channel. I would very much appreciate that feedback. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Back from the dead.